Good afternoon, Dr. Shaw. I just wanted to start out by saying that the video you posted on Blackboard was a little bit difficult to watch because it did bring back um, a lot of memories of when my father was in that exact same hospital for due to his terminal brain cancer back in 2007. So the hospital rooms, right down to the hospital bed and the gowns actually that the people were wearing were very, very familiar. In fact, they were exactly the same that I saw when I was there with my dad. Um, yeah, it was difficult because it did bring back a lot of memories. My dad had passed away in 2007, and he had always been sick for most of his adult life. He had a kidney transplant, which he lived after receiving that for another 15 years. So he was always sick, and he had dialysis for many years before that. But I do remember the day that, or the night that I received a call from my mother telling me that my dad had fallen down in his home or in his apartment in New York a few days prior, and he was in the hospital. And that the doctors had diagnosed him with terminal brain cancer. Um, in fact, I remember that night very clearly because it just was. It didn't seem real to me at the time, and in a lot of respects, it still doesn't seem real. I can remember it. I can remember it happening, but at the time, my reaction was just one of disbelief. So I took off from work here in Florida to be with my dad and my family in New York. And he was in Mount Sinai. And my sister actually is a RN. And ironically, she is working in Mount Sinai right now. But she wasn't back then. But nevertheless, because she was an RN, she did know we did have a little bit more better idea of what to expect. And it was still very hard on my sister, even though she was an RN and she had seen patients who were terminally ill before. But of course, it's takes on a different meaning when it's more personal. Um, and I think that overall, the experience leading up to my dad's passing was in some ways very positive because of the time that we were able to spend with him, or I was able to spend with him. I got to talk with him really in a way that I've never had been able to before. I was able to kind of just listen to him talk about his life, and I got to hear him apologize to my mother for all the things that he did wrong to her, and most importantly, and again, most importantly, I think the thing that really helped my family cope with my dad's passing before and after was the fact that he accepted God's salvation. My family is a Christian family, and my mom is devoutly Christian, and that I know was a big concern of ours, that my dad did not believe in God during most of his life, and pretty much right before he died, he broke down and accepted God, and that I think would be the biggest was the biggest factor that helped us to cope with his passing.